again, the reduction now in calcification in our system is reducing. And he had so many stories that he wanted to tell me, and it was brilliant to listen to him. And it's the same with all of you, is you'll have your own personal story, but you'll also have the story of all the people that you give the product or pass the information or sell the product to. And it is that type of product. It's quite amazing. Again, in Birmingham, you would have heard a small amount about me. You know Jack. And just to give you an idea, there's the most amazing team. And you know, we have Jack. Jack is brilliant at making decisions. I see that he's very quick. He listens to something very carefully. He'll analyse it, think it, and then bang, that's it. He'll say yes to it. If he doesn't like it, he'll say no to it. Barry Bashford, he's a very clever type of man, and Barry is incredible at detail. He goes right down to the detail of, you see the way it's being marketed. That's all Barry's influence, and he won't miss anything. Everything is detailed, and it's great because the detail is given to Jack, and Jack can make the decision. You have myself, you have my wife Lorraine also there. As I said, we'll probably get more involved with the testing now, but again is a great support to all of us, you know, for finding information or putting things together. My right hand man is a man called Colin Horton, and he's the man that checks all the ingredients for me. So anything I come up with that I want to put together, like new products, which I'm actually going to talk to you about some of our new ones, he makes sure that they follow, you know, the proper regulations. He makes sure that they're tested. He makes sure that they're the right ingredients. He makes sure they're the best ingredients. And that's something I have to take my hat off to Jack, is that he's given me the freedom to find the best ingredients. They really are the top quality. Every ingredient in it is top quality. So again, it's a great thing. When I met them first, I really thought, oh, network marketing, they'll want to dilute the product. You know, like you see so many others, you know, it ends up getting diluted. And Jack's words was out to me, looked at the product and says, can you make it better? I was going, oh, this guy's thinking differently, which was a breath of fresh air. So again, we have an amazing team that's watching like everything about the products. We've just signed off on our 4 new products. We haven't even got the first 3, and we've already have the vision for, well, on our division we have the ingredients worked out. And we have coming out one of the most amazing, I really think it's just a fantastic product. It's for the joints. But it's an amazing combination. It's not just glucosamine, chondroitin and the MMS, it's in it, but it has a very high quality collagen. And as we know, collagen is so important for all our connective tissue, not just for like sort of, I know, creams and everything, but really for our connective tissue. But one of the interesting things is we've sourced the bromelain. It's the enzyme that actually breaks the collagen down. So rather than just give them, because if people are tired, if they're working hard, if they've got arthritis, the whole trick is that protein is very hard for them to break down. And you end up getting large pieces of protein travelling from the intestine into the blood, and that causes more problems with arthritis and joint problems. And that's where a lot of times people can see products that look very good in formulations, but does the human body break them down? And in lots of cases, no, they can actually cause more toxins. So if you've got a small child that's eating McDonald's the whole time, and suddenly you read about omega-3 and you start giving the child loads of omega-3, the chances are the child won't be able to actually break it down because it's oil, there's high acid levels, a lot of toxins, there's so many things going on. The oil ends up becoming a toxin in the child's body. So things sometimes look great on paper, but it's getting them absorbed is the big thing into the system. So we have the proper quantity of bromelain to break down the collagen and the glucosamine and the chondroitin. Chondroitin is under attack at the moment, saying, does it really work and all this? And again, it does work as long as it gets into where it's meant to go. That's the secret to it. So in our joint formulation, I think there's 14 active ingredients. But the secret to it is going to be the enzyme to break down the collagen so that it gets into the area where we need it. So we have an exciting product coming on. The other one is one that I'm just so delighted the lads have backed me on, and we're going to see amazing results from it. It's a product for your immune system. And what it actually is a sinus, immune system, killing fungus, yeast in the body. So many people suffer, they don't realise it, with candida, with fungus infections. And so many of my clients, nearly anyone that has rheumatoid arthritis and comes to me has fungus in their sinus. Because the rheumatoid arthritis has left them open to high acid levels, and it's just a beautiful place for fungus to grow. And so many people suffer with fungus in their sinus, but they're being treated for asthma, they're being treated for having colds, and again, nothing really happening with the sinus. Most of the time the sinus just gets washed out, and after a couple of weeks, back again. Gets scraped out, a couple of weeks, back again. That's because it's a fungus. The only thing I ever discovered, I had sinus problems myself for a long time, and the only thing they ever discovered was oregano. And I was at a talk one day, and it actually became a great friend of mine, very interesting woman. At the age of 56, she went to university to study to be a naturopath, qualified at the age of 60, and went out to work. Just an amazing individual. But I thought the class would never end. She was great. I wanted to get oregano around to the local health food shop, and I couldn't believe the difference within a couple of days even. So I gave it to a lot of people. Even a vet in Mayo heard me talking, and he started giving it to some of the dogs that had sinus problems, and it cleared up their sinus. So it kills fungus. In a lot of cases, I really believe that when people have high fungus levels, it's one of the things that cancer lives off. So by getting rid of, we had a very sad situation just a year and a month ago. We were asked to go out to America to a guy who's a very clever artist, and he designed clothes, and he had cancer in the sinuses. Unfortunately, we were too late. We actually were with him when he died. He was only 29, and he had fungus in his sinuses for years, and cancer grew in his sinuses. I've never experienced anything in my life. He had a tumour that size over this eye, and his eye was completely closed. They gave him radiation, and unfortunately gave him too much and blinded him in this eye. He had a tumour running right across his head like a banana, and I think he must have had about 16 tumours in his chest. He was the most upbeat character I ever met, and he was just amazing to work with, and myself and Lorraine were actually with him the day he died. And all we did when we went over was just help him to die in peace. But when I met his mum and dad had a factory that they made teak windows. And from the time he was a baby, I mean a couple of weeks old, he was in a cot in the factory, and he was sure he was breathing in the fumes and breathing in dust and breathing in everything. So his mother explained to me from a very young age, he constantly suffered with sinus problems. And it's literally where the cancer grew, unfortunately. So the oregano is an amazing herb, and a lot of times when you buy it, it's watered down with cod liver oil, or not cod liver oil, grapeseed oil, and it shouldn't be. It needs to be taken in its pure form. And I often get people to take it and also get drops or books of capsule and breathe it in, and it's just amazing for clearing out the sinuses. And it gets rid of it. It's not a thing that like in 6 weeks' time you're going to have more. It literally gets rid of it, and then a year later take it again if you want to. It's no harm. The guys have given me permission, and it's a big commitment. We're going to actually blend that with shark liver oil, and then we're going to blend it also with something like lactoferrin. Now, the shark liver oil, I have seen incredible results, from killing cancer to shrinking tumour. Even Lorraine's nephew, when he was 3, he had a brain tumour, and they took it up as much as they could away, and we gave him the shark liver oil. His mum is from Turkey, and all these herbs were sent over from Turkey, and she really felt she was doing the right thing. She took him off the shark liver oil and put him on the herbs, and within a couple of weeks the tumour grew back. So rapid growing on. It was taken off as much as possible again, left on the shark liver oil. What age is he now, Lorraine? 9. No, he's 9. And they only see him once a year, and the tumour hasn't grown. Shark liver oil, we've seen amazing results with it. The French government have done a lot of clinical trials on it, and they recommend that if you're on chemotherapy or radium treatment, to take the shark liver oil, as it keeps the immune system strong, the white cell count high, And the chemotherapy, they actually can give you more chemotherapy or radium at a given time because the body is protected with the shark liver oil. So to have the oregano, the shark liver oil, and then a good like lactoferrin, again, is what's found in breast milk. It coats every cell in the body. It's good for the immune system for fighting infection. So the three together will be an amazing combination for people's immune system. When people have sinuses, the big thing is it's not just the sinus that's infected, but it causes a nasal drip, and this is where they think it's asthma. A nasal drip to go down onto the bronchial drainage. And this has a huge wearing effect on the immune system. And so it keeps depleting the immune system. So you're sneezing, you're coughing, you're getting up phlegm, and you think, I should look, it's harmless enough. It's not. It's actually a very strong effect on the immune system. So then when that gets depleted, you're open then to many other things. So this is where it'll be a powerful combination of ingredients for people. What's interesting about the shark liver oil is 6 is the maximum, 500 milligrams in each capsule, but 6 is the maximum you take in 24 hours. If you actually take more, it actually works against the body. So it becomes too powerful. So again, the recommended from the French government is 6 is a maximum a day. The French army are on shark liver oil for battle fatigue. So they reckon now, instead of the lads being left in trenches for 2 weeks, they can leave them for 3 weeks if they're on shark liver oil. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the lads in the trenches. But what they've shown is that it actually combats stress, battle fatigue, that type of thing, and again from radiation is another part of their trial. So the French government have done a lot of work. 4 very powerful, there's about 33 altogether, but 4 very powerful clinical trials on shark liver oil. Just before we start thinking of the poor old sharks, they're sharks that are actually farmed. They're not wild sharks. So they're farmed for this. So we're not taken away from wildlife, or we're not, causing any problems with wild sharks.
What type of sharks?
To be honest, I can't remember. I'll find out for you. Yeah, I'll find out what type of shark it is. Yeah, good question, alright. I will find out for you. So it's a really good combination. The other joint product, and then we've got the immune product, and then we've 2 other products, a male and a female. And again, they're a nice combination, and they're for sexual health. Now, it's nothing smutty. But what we're not going to be with Ann Summers, honestly. Not like that. But what it is using a combination of vitamins and minerals to, again, for women, for mood, for more like relaxation, enjoyment. For men, it is partly stimulant, but again, it's for sort of a stronger, powerful sperm. Again, it's a big problem that male sperm count has dropped so much over the last 30 years. Environment, the pill, there's been many factors, and a very good quality zinc. We really need that. It's one of the minerals that we're missing in is good quality zinc. You can go into Tesco's, or you can go into places and buy zinc for $2.99. You better to throw it at someone you don't like. The good quality zinc makes such a difference because it's what's bioabsorbed in the system, and it helps the prostate to stay in its proper shape as well. So for men, zinc is really important. One of the things when we were being taught massage, people had, I don't know what you call it over here, but chicken skin, where it's really bumpy, and that's a sign of people being lacking in zinc. That was what we were told to look out for with it. So the 4 products are it's coming out probably November. We'd see these online, and again, we're already starting to work on our products for after Christmas. But these 4 have been formulated and developed.
I presume that they work okay if we're taking all these other 3 products.
Yeah, we'll explain how you can bring the combinations together. It's a good question because the likes of the joint product, if you were to take the Purifica, it will be a great combination because the other enzymes and everything will work really well with it. So yeah, so we don't want people doubling up, and we've, you know, one of the things we're going to recommend is the Salustra and the joint product, but we've made sure that there's, you know, the vitamin D is at the proper level, that people won't be getting too much, you know, so we've worked out that in combinations, so we'll be able to explain them when the products are out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, they're not doubling up on it. So I suppose just to run through a little bit before I start explaining the 3 new products that will be out in August. Again, where I'm coming from, I suppose I first was trained 28 years ago. I was trained as a massage therapist, and after Birmingham actually I was thinking about it even more, and the massage that we did was quite addictive, and for me as a therapist it was very addictive, because what we were actually trained to do was focus on every stroke. So if you had a problem, if you'd won the lotto, if you were going on holidays, it had to be left outside the door. Right? Your mind had to be clear. So when you went in to work with someone, the full concentration was 100% on that person. So you used your body weight, and every stroke and every movement was you felt where you were actually at. You worked with the person. And that's what is addictive, because if you're working for 8 hours a day and you're totally present, it's an amazing feeling. You get a feeling of energy, because you're just completely focused on the individual and watching to see what you're feeling, what information you're getting, what advice you can give them, what questions you need to ask them. And then when you're working with a person like that, you can feel what toxins are in their system, muscle protein, how the muscles in their proper length, are the tendons swollen, are the ligaments okay, are the joints too pressure together, is the spine fully lengthened. There's so much information that it's a great privilege, because you can get to know the person better than sometimes they even know themselves when you're working on that. And it is very addictive, because, as I said, you're totally in the presence and you're totally working with the person. A client of mine there 2 years ago, we had bad weather in Ireland, and she would travel about an hour and 20 minutes to get to me, and usually there'd be 3 women come together, and they very much like the Desperate Housewives. I know they'd be all high heels, and they come in to me, and they decided the weather was bad, and they rang me and said, would you mind if I went to a local therapist? And I said, no problem. That was no problem at all. I don't mind at all. And they rang me a couple of days later, and they said, no, we're going to battle the weather, we're coming back to you. And I said, right, well, you're not happy. And they said, well, it was very funny, because we thought that he was just doing one-hand massage. And I said, one-hand massage, right? And he says, and then when we looked up and we realised he was on his mobile phone. and he was massaging them. So not much presence in that sort of awareness. So again, the difference being totally focused with someone. As I was saying in Birmingham, the one thing I realised was that I came from a cycling background, and we were always completely focused on what we wanted to achieve. You'd mark out at the start of the year where you wanted to be in different races. Some races were training, some were to finish first, and it was a great feeling. And we would do anything to get up at the top level. Even getting, like, we didn't have the money for supplements, so we'd take out the membrane of an egg, and we'd squash the shell of the egg in honey and eat it for calcium, and to boost her immune system. I was even in Gorey, we were explaining that even coming a few days before the big races, we'd go into the butchers and we'd get him to get us bull's balls, and we'd get our mothers to boil them up, and we'd eat them to give us energy. Not nice, but you do anything to get that little bit of head start. So when I started working with people, I was actually shocked, because I just found that there was such negativity, and also people working against themselves. When I listened to most people, they didn't have any goals to be healthy. So I used to ask them to give me 3 advantages in getting well, and they would look at me like, what? As if I had 6 heads. What do you mean, 3 advantages? And they would find it difficult to come up with 3 advantages. You'd have to prompt them and give them time for 3 advantages to being healthy. And the big question then I would ask them is, give me 1 advantage in getting well, or disadvantage in getting well. Give me 1 disadvantage in getting well. And what will come back will be amazing, amazing feedback, because people would suddenly realise, well, do you know, if my leg got better, I'd have to go back to work. If I got better people wouldn't give you as much attention. Sure, everyone's always walking down the street saying, how are you now, how's the leg? And it is very interesting because we don't do it on purpose. I'm not saying people are setting out to do it. Some people maybe are consciously, but most time it's unconscious that people have an advantage to actually being sick. So so when you put it up in front of them, at least then they have the choice to say, oh no, I'm not doing that to myself anymore. Or like a woman I talked about, she's married to quite a famous man in Ireland, and she has MS down one side of her body, and she got about 80% better, or maybe a bit more. And she rang me one day and she said, I'm finished coming to you, and thanks very much. And I said to her, but I said, you're nearly there, like if you came for another 6 or 7 sessions, we'd get you. And she said, no, I'm happy, I'm as healthy as I want to be. And then she explained to me, which I thought was very respectful. She said to me, since I got sick, my husband comes home early from work. He opens the car door for me. He allows me to have a drink, which he wouldn't do. He wouldn't let her have a drink. He brings me out more. He rings me 4 or 5 times in work. So she said, I'm not willing to let that go. She was being honest with me. So a year or so later, I'm coming down the main streets in Wexford, and she's linking her husband, and people, of course, are waving at the husband and saying hello to him, and she has a slight drag, just a little drag, and she sees me and I see her, and she goes, so the mind is an amazing thing. So when I get over that, some people would actually realise and say, yeah, I'm doing that to myself and I don't want to. Or some people would say, no, leave me, I'm happy enough. And it's respectful for the therapist because he feels or she feels that, well, they've got the result that the person is happy with. You know, rather than being doubtful about yourself and saying, what could I have done better to get this person right.